Hey everybody, welcome back for episode number 2 on the series that I'm doing for stable coins. Now this is a topic that's making a lot of press lately. It's something that you guys have been asking about, so we're digging in. Unfortunately, I can't cover it in just 10 or 15 minutes. It's a much deeper subject, so I'm making it into a little bit of a series, but I think you guys like that anyway. Now, I could be like everybody else on YouTube and just open up the webpage and read to you the top 5 or 10 coins, kind of explain to you what they are, but you know that's not how I do things, and that's why you like me. I give you the education you need to see the whole picture, the big picture, and to be successful in this coming revolution, this wealth transfer. So we're gonna get into it. All right, so we're going to talk about, can digital tokens, stable coins, can they give us a stable currency? Now, last week in video 1, hopefully you've watched it. If not, go back and watch that because it really gives you the history that you need for this to understand what's going on here. But we talked about money, what it really is, and how money actually communicates value. That's what money does. All right, we talked about how stable money is a really key piece. It's the key piece to free markets. We talked about the 4 different functions of money, how money changes and the 4 functions that money serves. We talked about how the entire world has been on a gold-backed currency for over 5,000 years, and that all ended about 50 years ago in 1971. And we also talked about how it's not really that prices have been going up, but rather our money is being worth less. All really, really good stuff. If you haven't seen video 1, please go back and watch that one. Now, getting right into it, in this series, we're gonna go over the economic, the different economic policies. And really kind of the world is split into 2 camps, Keynesian and Austrian economics. We're gonna talk about the 2008 financial crash and how that really was a catalyst for where we are today. We're gonna talk about how Bitcoin was designed to be hard, sound money. And again, that conversation started back in the previous series to understand hard, sound money. We'll talk about it more today. And we're going to talk about stable coins, what they are, how they work, why we need them, and then how do stable coins work and what the differences are. So that's what we're going to cover. So hopefully you enjoy that. Now, getting right into it, the 2 different camps, the 2 schools of thought are on economics. So economics is the way that we look at money and how we're using that. So economics, the Keynesian camp believes that we should always be spending. There should be consumer spending, there should be government spending, there should be business spending, and it's the spending that creates economic wealth. And that sounds pretty simple at first. I mean, if I go spend money at a store, then that guy has money to go spend, and then if he spends money, he has money to spend. And so you kind of get that, the velocity of money, how it moves through an economy, and it makes sense, but it goes much deeper. The other school of thought is Austrian economics, and they believe that savings and production is what creates economic growth. Now, Keynesian economics want us to spend, spend, spend. So that's kind of what we have in the United States or most of the developed world, Europe as well. So you get no money for saving, right? There's no savings, no interest paid. They want you to continue to run up credit. The United States government, all the governments of the world continue to run up credit because they believe as long as we just keep spending, even if it's borrowed money, that it's going to create a good economic environment. We have 50 years, kind of shows otherwise. Austrian economics believes that through saving, through deploying my capital that I've saved, by earning real interest on my money, that leads to prosperity. So those are the 2 camps. The world's been kind of divided by that. And I should say that for the last 50 years, it's really been driven by Keynesian economics. If you're new out of college, it's probably what you learned. Now, John Maynard Keynes, the author of Keynesian economics, he put in a book, there is no subtler, no sure means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch, than to debase the currency. The process engages all the hidden forces of economic law on the side of destruction, and it doesn't matter. It does it in a manner which no one, not one man in a million, is able to diagnose. Keynesian economics. If you're new out of college, you learned Keynesian economics. They don't tell you that probably, but that's what we're operating on. Spend, 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 spend credit, taxes, etc. The father of that, listen what he says here. There's no sure means to overturn an existing basis of society than to debase the currency, right? So that's what we talked about with the dollar. It's been debased. It used to be backed on gold. Now it's fiat. So to overturn a society, we have to debase the currency, and it on the side of destruction, to destroy it. And it does it in a manner which no one, not a man in a million, is able to diagnose. So we have all kinds of problems going on in this world. And they all kind of go back to one thing: the debasement of the currency. I know it sounds pretty serious, but anyway, the father of Keynesian economics, that's what he said. Now, if that is true, then the opposite is also true. That's how laws work, right? So if Keynes said it to be true, then the reverse, the opposite, also has to be true. And that would be, the opposite would be restoring real monetary integrity engages all the hidden forces of economic law on the side of prosperity. So if debasing the currency destroys it, and not a man in a million could even point the finger or figure out how that works, if debasing destroys it, well, then restoring sound economic principles would bring back prosperity, right? This is the opposite of what Keynes said, all right? So hopefully you understand now the difference of having a stable, a hard, sound money versus an unstable fiat money that means nothing. So if we want to get back to prosperity, we want to bring back hard and sound money, all right? So how do we do that? So in 2008, we had this global financial crash, right? Everybody knows that. We had this financial crash, and that was really the catalyst for where we are today. So during 2008, all the banks, the investment banks, banks of the world, of the entire world had run away. They had printed way too much money. They were doing these derivatives trading, and they racked up so much debt that they basically collapsed the entire global economy. And to that response, Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that was or is, created Bitcoin in a direct response to that 2008 crash. So Bitcoin was created, and it was created to mimic gold, because gold has been the base of all major currencies for over 5,000 years. And let me just tell you real quickly why. So gold, it has a very limited supply. All right, there's only so much gold, and the more gold we get out of the ground, the harder it is to find more, right? All the easy gold's been found already. So whatever gold we get now, it gets harder and harder to get. It has a true cost of capital. If I want to get gold out of the ground, I have to go buy some land. I have to spend a lot of money on equipment to set it up. I have to hire people to sit there, pull this out of the ground, refine it, etc. So there's a cost. There's a cost to creating the gold, a cost to creating capital. And it's something in monetary terms we call stock to flow ratio. That means how much there is, how much stock there is, to the flow, how much new is coming in. If the stock to flow ratio, so we want a very limited amount of new flow coming in for the amount of stock that's out there. Otherwise, it floods the marketplace and it makes it all worthless. If all of a sudden we found that we could just create 5 times more gold than we ever knew, it would bring the price down, because now we'd have way more flow than the stock allows. So gold has a limited supply, true cost of to get the capital, and a good stock to flow ratio. And so Bitcoin was designed to be exactly like that. With miners have to get Bitcoin. The more they get out, the harder it is to get more. The more expensive it is to get more. It's a true cost to get it. So they have to buy the equipment, they have to set it up, they have to use man hours to run it, they have to do electricity, all of those things, and the stock to flow ratio. So they can only get out so much at a time, and it gets less and less and less over time. So it's programmed to be digital gold, which is why they call it that. Now, crypto is a form of better money if it's done properly. So money, if it's gold, it has a good hard sound base, a good stock to flow ratio. Fiat currency is just printed. It's just printed unlimited. And so it has a very poor stock to flow ratio. Now, crypto can be a better money as long as it adheres to those same qualities. If it's hard and sound, it's also better because it's trustless, it's permissionless, and it's immutable. So let me just tell you what those things mean real fast. So hard and sound, meaning it's a hard money, it's sound money, meaning that in the code, there's a limited supply. There can't be more printed. That's it. It's got a fixed hard cap. Now, it's also trustless. Right now, if you have whatever dollars you're in your country, you're trusting your bank to give those to you. It's an IOU. They owe you money. You're trusting them, and you're trusting your government to back that up as well. Now, governments go bankrupt all the time. We're seeing it in Venezuela, Zimbabwe, we've seen it in Mexico, Cyprus, on and on and on. But you're trusting somebody. With Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, it's a trustless system, meaning it's written in the code. The code is open source. I can see it, you can see it, everybody can see it, everybody can verify it, and so we don't have to trust anybody because it's open. It's a trustless system. I'm not trusting anybody. I'm not trusting my bank or my government. It's also permissionless, meaning anybody can come online, create a Bitcoin wallet, a crypto wallet, and start doing transactions in Bitcoin or crypto right away. It's permissionless. And I don't need permission to send money to you or to get money from you. Now, compare that to dollars in your country. You can't open up a bank account without permission. You can't transfer money from your bank to someone else's bank without permission, right? So you're trusting them and you have to receive permission from them in order to even participate. Now, I know that may sound crazy depending on where you live in the world, but there are over 2 billion adults, 2 billion adults in the world that have no access to banking. 2 billion adults with no access to banking. So they don't have the permission. They can't get involved in the financial system. The last thing is immutable. Now, seizures, unlawful seizures happen all the time in all types of countries. In Cyprus, all accounts over $100,000 had 50% taken away. In the United States, they freeze accounts all the time. And Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies are immutable, meaning once it's on that ledger, and it says I own it, that's it. Nobody can take it, manipulate it, steal it, block it, prevent it, nothing. It's immutable. It can't be changed. And it's not just money. Remember what I said from last week is that money just is a communication. It communicates value. We can also use cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, etc., to put all types of things in that are immutable, such as history. History is constantly being rewritten, but it could be put into the blockchain. It can be immutable. So anyway, crypto can be better money as long as it has all those things, hard and sound money, it's trustless, permissionless, and it's immutable. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, okay, we need to have this stable currency, and Bitcoin is supposed to be this stable currency, but so far Bitcoin is not stable. It's actually super volatile. As a matter of fact, it was $20,000 at the beginning of 2018, and today it's down about $6,500. That means it's volatile. It's constantly going up and down. That's not a good store of value. It's unstable. So here I am trying to make this argument that our money today is unstable and cryptocurrencies can bring us a stable currency, but Bitcoin's not that today. And what I'm showing you right here is this is the path, a passage of time that money makes. All right, so over time it will ascend this. So it's going to go from digital scarcity to a digital collectible. It's going to improve decentralization, censorship resistant, and it's going to continue up to where we are here today, which is really being used as a unit of account. So we have even units, so we can use as an account. 1 Bitcoin is always 1 Bitcoin. And we're starting to use it as a medium of exchange. However, it's a very poor store of value today because it's going up and down. If you had put all your wealth in January of 2018, today you're not sitting in a very good position, all right? So it's not a very good store of value. But you see, we're here today. As money continues moving up, it will become a reliable store of value. So we have to wait. So I believe that patience is key. We need to wait. Yes, Bitcoin is not a great store of value today, but because it possesses all those characteristics we just talked about, immutable, censorship resistant, hard and sound, etc., it will become a good store of value. However, what about today? So today we're talking about stable coins. Stable coins to the rescue because Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those other cryptocurrencies aren't really there yet, right? As we said, we're here, we need to get up. And it's probably going to take some time. It could take years before we get to the point where they're stable enough to really feel like you could put all your money into them. So stable coins are to the rescue. So there's been a lot of excitement around cryptocurrency, digital assets. And like we talked about in the previous slide or 2 slides ago, crypto excels as a unit of account because they're all very even, right? So that's easy. Unit of account's easy. They excel as a medium exchange. Now, some of them, obviously, we can trade or exchange much faster and cheaper, but we excel in the medium exchange. But what crypto has been very poor at is in the store of value, right? So because we haven't ascended to that level yet. So that's where stable coins come in. So Bitcoin, I believe, will eventually get there. But what about today? So stable coins are created to solve this problem today. So stable coins are, as they say in their name, they're stable. So with stable coins, their prices stay pegged to another currency or an asset. So they take another currency and they peg it to that or an asset. So stable coins are basically a digital currency, a cryptocurrency, and the value is designed to be kept stable by being pegged to something. So it's usually a very centrally controlled asset, and they peg it to another asset. So for example, you've probably heard of Tether. So Tether is the most well-known, the most widely distributed stable coin. And one Tether is worth $1. So the dollar could be volatile, but at least Tether is always pegged. It's always staying up with the dollar. Now, if you don't believe the dollar is very stable, then that could be a problem, but that's the way it works right now. Because we still live in a dollar world, regardless of what country you're in, whatever your local dollar is, we think in terms of our local dollar, so we don't really see the prices changing all around us. So it makes sense for like Tether to be pegged to the US dollar. Now, how they stay stable is they'll peg to an asset, like I said, either another currency or some other type of basket of assets, a basket of commodities, or they have senior shares, and I'm going to explain how that works. So we have three different types of stable coins. These are IOU, these are asset backed. So this is like Tether, right? This is what we talked about. Tether, True USD, DigiGold, Stably. And basically these are all IOU or asset backed. So for every dollar that goes in Tether's account, they issue $1 of Tether. So there's supposed to be, I don't know, $2.5 billion of Tether out there today, and they're supposed to have $2.5 billion of USD, of US dollars sit in the bank. This is all IOU, this is all asset backed. Now we have another type down here, and this is collateralized. And this is typically crypto collateralized. So what this means, so Marker, what this means is they have collateral. So typically the way that works is if I want 100 of these tokens, I may have to put up $200 or $150 of crypto to get $100 or $150 of these tokens back. And the reason why they do that is they over collateralize it because crypto is volatile. So what happens is they set the mark lower. So as this goes up and down, this stays stable. That's the second type. Now the third and final type of stable coin are the non-collateralized. All right, these are seigniorage shares. We're going to get into each one of these later, but these are seigniorage shares. We'll talk about how that works. So the stablecoin trade-offs are if they're fiat collateralized, right? These are the three types: fiat collateralized, crypto collateralized, and non-collateralized. So fiat collateralized, they're secure to crashes because they're secured one-to-one or pegged with a currency. However, they're very centralized. So Tether, for example, one entity is holding all those dollars. That creates counterparty risk. If something happens to them, all those dollars go away. However, it is collateral efficient because it's a one-to-one ratio. Now, crypto collateralized is not secure to crashes because crypto is super volatile, right? However, it's decentralized because it can be done through a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. It can be done through smart contracts, but it's not collateral efficient, meaning the collateral is not efficient. So like I said, typically I have to put up 1.5 or 2 times the amount of collateral that I want to get back. I'd have to put up $200 of crypto to get back $100 of tokens. So that's not very efficient. The third type is the non-collateralized, and it's not secure to crashes. It is decentralized and it's collateral efficient because it doesn't require like a 1.5 or 2.1 ratio. So those are the stablecoin types, the trade-offs, and we'll get more into each individual one. So the question that I'm trying to answer, and I'm sure you guys have, is do stablecoins make sense? Do they make sense? Do they make sense today? Do they make sense in the future? And a lot of that just depends. Yes and no, right? It depends on who you are and what you're trying to use them for. So yes, we need stable money. We need stable money for a medium of exchange. We need money for a store of value. So yes, we need stable coins, yes. No, I would say they don't make sense as an investment because the very name stable coins means it's not supposed to be going up or down. So if I'm going to invest into a coin, I expect it to go up in value. So why would I want to invest in a stable coin whose entire role is to stay stable? So that doesn't make sense. So Stablecoins can and should be used as part of your trading and your investing strategies. So depending on how you're running your accounts and how you're doing your investing and trading, they should be used or they could be used. So for example, if you want to get out of position, like you think that there's, maybe a crash coming in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever coin, you could move from Bitcoin to US Tether. And that's stable. That's stable to the dollar. As soon as you see a good reentry, you can move from Tether right back into Bitcoin. Now, the reason why Tether works is because it's not fiat. So most crypto-to-crypto exchanges, you can't do fiat. Now, on Coinbase, if you were only on Coinbase, you could move to US dollars. But most exchanges don't have that option, and so you have to use a stable coin like Tether. Now, so I think that we'll continue to use stable coins. I use stable coins. I think most people will continue to use stable coins in that manner until another crypto, if another crypto proves to become a stable coin. If Bitcoin continues up that path we talked about before and becomes a good store of value, meaning it's stable, then I believe there won't really be a need for stable coins. But we don't know how long that's going to be or if it'll ever be. So until that time, we can continue using stable coins. Now, maybe Bitcoin never achieves that store of value status, and maybe we always want to use stable coins. So instead of leaving money parked in US dollars, because I believe there could be a crash coming in US dollars, for example, or whatever country you're in, I could decide to use this stable coin because I believe it'll be more stable than the other currency that I'm currently holding. So the store of value, where we choose to store our value, it changes. It depends. Whatever is the best store of value, that's what we use. And so over a period of time, the best store of value always wins. All right. So that's it for today. We're going to dig in much deeper on the next video. On the next video, I'm going to talk, do peg currencies work? And what are the risks? So we've seen peg currencies. There's lots of peg currencies today. We've seen them over hundreds or maybe thousands of years. We're going to talk about, do they work, and what are the risks of that. We're going to talk about how to avoid these risks and how to avoid the risk of using stable coins. We'll talk about which stable coins are the best. So we'll start talking about individual coins, which ones I like the best, which ones I trust the most. And then ultimately, what we're all here for is how we're going to use these stable coins to make more money. All right, this is a big revolution. There's all these new pieces coming out, and there's a certain way that I use stablecoins in my own portfolio, and I'm going to teach you guys that. So hopefully you'll tune in for the next episode of that. Now there is one more thing that I want to talk about. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed hearing me talk. I know you tune in for my videos, most of you guys every week. Now at the end of October, I'm going to be in Las Vegas speaking live. It'd be really cool for you guys to come out and say hi. If any of you guys are around the Vegas area, come on out. I'd love to meet you. We can hang out in the bar, have a drink, have an appetizer. I'm going to be speaking at World Crypto Con. If you do want to come, I put a link down below, $200 off a ticket. Now they could give me affiliate commission on this, but I opted not to take the affiliate commission and instead push the savings back to you guys because I'd love to meet you. So if any of you guys are around the Vegas area, around Halloween, come out to World Crypto Con, come say hi, let's sit down, let's hang out, let's have a drink. There's going to be a lot of other influencers that will be there, a lot of guys on YouTube that you maybe watch on Twitter and YouTube will be there, as well as a lot of speakers. So check that out, World Crypto Con. The link will be down below. And that's what I got for you guys today. Tune in next week for the next installment of Stable Coins. And that's it. Till next time, to your success.